Okay, so it is time. We're going to do a £5 game challenge. And then I think if I've got time, we're going to go somewhere else. And I'm going to do a £10 PS4 game challenge for another episode. So recently I've been finding the £5 retro game challenge is really, really difficult because the rules that I just kind of plucked out of the air are no football titles, no doubles. And obviously if you guys have seen my retro game collection, you'll know that it's pretty hefty, especially along the lines of, say, like PS2 stuff, which at the minute is quite cheap, isn't it, Jess?
Yeah.
It's quite cheap to get a good stash of PlayStation 2 games. Same with Xbox 360. So it's been very, very difficult. So we will see what we find on the PS4 challenge, which will be in a different episode. You're going to have to subscribe to come back for that one. So I'm not going to say too much because I don't know what I'm going to get. And fingers crossed there'll be some bonus footage because there's a guy in this town that has a market stall. Usually he sells retro games, so hopefully we can get some awesome footage. We can just have a look, we can retro game hunt together. Let's go.
Look at the Home Alone one.
I know you don't see that often.
No.
You really don't. That's awesome. That's gone down in price massively. Hugely down in price.
It's funny how much Wii Fit's gone up during the pandemic.
I know, right? Yeah. Welcome to the £5 game challenge. Unfortunately, guys, putting this in here, it's a voiceover one because this CEX had copyrighted music blasting out of the store. Like, it was so darn loud. I don't know why some CEXs do that. If there's any staff watching, let me know. Like, what is the logic of playing ridiculously loud music? But hey, let's get to the challenge because I really did enjoy this one. Now, got some people, I was laughing here at the Resident Evil 6 code in the back of one of the PlayStation 3 sleeves. I believe it was Dragon's Dogma. Don't think I picked up any PS3 games, but you will see the total games and the titles of the games that I picked up later in this episode. Now, PS2 stuff typically doesn't excite me on £5 game challenges, and that's because I see them all the time. I have a healthy PlayStation 2 game collection myself. So I tend to kind of go with the more obscure stuff like original Xbox because there's never as many. GameCube if I can. But in this store, there were some good PS2 titles, and what I noticed was that the prices on some titles were starting to creep up to quite a significant amount of money, and I will give you examples in this episode. Now, please watch the entire episode. I want you to kind of see if there's anything you can spot. I spot Silent Hill 2 here. This was ranked in at over 30 quid. Now, when I purchased that particular copy, that very release from CEX a couple of years ago, I believe I only paid £12 for it. So it goes to show that it's jumped from 12 to, I believe it was 35 there. That's a big margin, guys. That is a big margin. And yes, Silent Hill 2 is one of those games that is fantastic. It really does hold true to the horror genre. It's a staple title, but 35 quid for that particular release, I don't believe it's something I would have paid for. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section. And there's other PS2 titles in this as well, particularly the kind of game quiz, the family quiz games. Whoa, I was shocked at the prices. They have skyrocketed. Spoiler alert! Here's some ridiculously expensive PS2 games that I say ridiculously expensive. I mean, there's a couple of Buzz games, one there at 50p, and then you'll see me pull them out and they're over 20 quid. Now, I questioned if anybody still plays them. I mean, I know they're party games. You can play them with your family at Christmas. You've obviously got the additional peripheries, if I can get my words out correctly. And this as well, 22 quid! 22 quid for Def Jam Fight. I mean, kudos to the PS2 stuff. I mean, wow, if it's going up in value, it's going up in value. But recently, there's been a massive shift in retro and CEX. And I said this in my last £5 game episode when I believe we saw Silent Hill on the PlayStation 1 for a whopping £48, guys. £48. A few years ago, you could buy Silent Hill on the PlayStation 1 for 20. Now, arguably, CEX's retro game prices are nothing to judge the entire market by, but I do think on the whole, things have been skyrocketed. I mean, a lot's changed this past year. Some people have gone out of business, or some people are coming back into business and they need to put up their prices. I'm not quite sure what CEX's excuse is, but nonetheless, this, like I said, I did enjoy this challenge. I really, really did. We've got Twin Caliber here picking it up. I love that little blood splash decal on the spine there as well. And yes, obligatory shot for thumbnail. Jess is here. It's been a while actually since Jess has been out on Retro Game Hunt. She's been busy sourcing her own antiques for her own kind of business. You know, she's a reseller of kind of, I think it's mid-century modern items, let's just say. In fact, I do believe you'll see one in this video just as she comes back into the store. Now, I just do have another quick glance over at the retro because honestly, pro tip, always double check the retro because there's that many shelves in CEX that every time I go back to them, I'm like, oh yes, there's another cabinet here full of games. So always go to double check, and it's dead easy to find because they're either in the glass cabinets here, or as you'll see in a later episode this week, which has a much better stash of retro, they're behind the counter. And also make sure you ask, because I've had lots of potluck when I've asked for games and they are like, yeah, we've just got loads and we've not put them out on the shop shelf yet. And they come to the front of the till and there's a whole box full of Super Nintendo, Game Boy Advance cartridges galore. So make sure you always ask. What is this voodoo you do that you saw in the last clip? Minecraft on the PlayStation 3, weighing in at over 20 quid. That blows my mind, considering Minecraft is available on pretty much every single device, mobile, console, PC, you name it. Minecraft is one of the most, I feel, accessible and prevalent games in the world. So for it to kind of be 20 quid on the PS3, I was like scratching my head thinking, that just seems a bit too much. I think even on mobile, you know, if you've got your iPad, you can play it for a £5. And obviously some educational programs, if, you know, you've got young ones and they're kind of running into a school that has this kind of curriculum, you can use it in your education as well. So I just think 20 quid. Let me know what you think. I personally think that's a ridiculous rip off. Now, we're back over at the glorious PlayStation 2 wall, and we will see yet more games at ridiculous prices, but I think, like I said in the last clip there, CEX have really been pushing things up recently, and I would say probably more towards eBay pricing because it's very shocking and it definitely does make the £5 game challenge a little bit more tricky, but nonetheless, this Sutton and the Mansfield, so they're kind of local-ish to me. Those two CEX stores are always well-packed, well-stocked, particularly the Mansfield store with their retro cartridge-based retro, so we're going to be doing that, like I said, later in the week. So, 3DS stuff, I think you can get 2 3DS games for £5. I know there are previous stores that I've done this episode in where you can get 2 3DS games for £5, and that's not bad, guys. That is not bad. I've done pretty much all platforms now. Obviously, it's difficult to do a £5 game challenge on the GameCube, but there have been some times when there have been some GameCube games for £2 or £1.50, really nice bargains, but it's very hard to get more than one in the challenge. But you can, so it's nice to do these challenges because it opens my eyes, and I like to think that it opens your eyes as well, and you guys always comment on the prices. Now this, I recently picked up when I went down to Norwich. I picked that up for £12.50. In fact, I'll link that episode in the cards. We visit 2 retro game stores down the south of the United Kingdom in Norwich. Beautiful city, really affluent and vibrant place. Really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to get back down there to those retro game stores. So at this point, I had one more game that I had to buy. Not necessarily had to buy, but had the budget to buy within the £5. Never seen this one though. That looked really cute, actually. It looked really cute, but I'll be honest, at this stage I was thinking all of these Wii games are well out of the budget that I have left, but you never know. You sometimes get lucky and you see that game that you've never seen before and you've never obviously played before. So that's what I always do. I go back, like I do with my retro, I go back, I double check, I triple check sometimes, because I have had luck doing it that way. So we're gonna let this remaining CEX footage play through before we warp back to the Team 24 headquarters to check out how I did. So what exactly did I pick up on that challenge? We snagged some Area 51 on the original Xbox for £2.50. Unfortunately missing manual, but that's okay. So £2.50, guys. And then we have, which I've never seen, this was the game I said I'd never seen, some Junior Sports Basketball for 50p, taking us up to the nice sum of £3. This looks kind of fun, actually, like a kind of Sims take on basketball. I'm sure it'll be great. Use your cool power-ups and slam dunk like a superstar. And then it was the spine that sold me, twin caliber for £2. So this looks pretty cool. I really like the back. It says, things started to go wrong when a strange cult set up on the outskirts of town. Why am I doing a ridiculous voice? I have no idea. But this looks pretty darn gnarly. I believe this is complete as well. So that isn't too bad. So that's my £5 video game challenge completed. So if you are new here, make sure you guys subscribe, leave a like, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye.